Red Bull, they are coming stateside, New York City, February 3rd. They will launch their car. This is pretty big in the sense that first Formula One team to come to the United States, go to the Big Apple, and they're going to unveil their car for the coming season. What do you guys think of this news?
I think it's awesome. I love this. I'm a big fan of all things America, and I think it really speaks to where F1 is in the country right now. Red Bull are they're filling their car up with American sponsors. They've got Oracle as the title sponsor there. If you look on the sponsors they've brought in over the past 2 years, so many American names there. And season launch, I think more and more it's important to realize that the further away a launch is from testing, the less likely it is you're seeing anything close to the car that's going to roll out of the garage on that first day of testing. Red Bull especially like to leave that as late as possible. They're designing the car right up until it has to basically start being shipped up, and testing's not in Spain this year like it was in previous years in Bahrain, but it will be, from what we understand, it's a livery launch. There's some other things they're announcing there as well. And I think that it'll be a great example of how far things have come, because I don't think a team would have bothered doing this 5 years ago, even if they had an American title sponsor. I just think they would have thought, well, the media uptake for this is probably going to be pretty low. ESPN, we've been in planning meetings today, but there's quite a lot going on. We're really excited about some of the stuff that there is to do there. It just wouldn't have happened a few years back. So really great. And obviously Red Bull are the guys to beat right now as well. So if there's any team that should be launching their car and their season in the Big Apple, Red Bull and New York seems pretty appropriate.
You can tell you're an American sports fan. Is that a New England Tom Brady or
No, absolutely not. It's a Buccaneers shirt.
Well,
Come on.
Your man Tom last night, my Cowboys.
I'm not.
They go on the road and got a dub.
Oh, your Cowboys. Oh man, when you said Austin, you lived in Austin, Texas, I was like, well, maybe he's not a Cowboys fan. But no, we're not talking about it. As far as I'm concerned, Brady, he retired last year mentally. I think physically he didn't, but mentally I'm saying he checked out last year.
I was trying to think of how I could liken it to you guys to understand. The Cowboys haven't won a road playoff game in nearly 30 years.
I had never beaten Brady either.
Yeah, they hadn't beaten Brady. So I was trying to look through what would be comparable in Formula One. And the best that I could come up with was Ferrari winning at Monaco. And I know Ferrari has won at Monaco within the last 10 years, but you go back the last 30 years for Ferrari to win at Monaco, but pretty big deal. And for suffering Cowboys fans, for us to actually win in the playoffs, beat Tom Brady and win on the road. Now they got to deal with the Niners, but so there's our NFL talk. I had to get that in there.
I think we squeeze some in every pod now, which I'm liking. So good to keep the trend going.
Lawrence, what do you think of Red Bull coming over to New York City?
I'm grateful because I thought you were going to ask me about the NFL, of which I have no idea.
We'll screw you on that.
I'm learning. Nate kind of coaches me through games and stuff like that. He kind of tells me what's going on and what a penalty is when it's a penalty.
Oh, it's a horrible sport to try to learn.
I make a lot of that stuff up, Lawrence, as we go, to be honest. I'm like, I think it's a penality for this reason.
Well, you sound authoritative, but maybe yeah. Maybe not. What do I think about Red Bull in New York? I think it's really cool. It's if you think of all the locations in the world where you could have an event, and all this is hype, right? I mean, like Nate said, you're not going to see the RB19 in New York. Forget it. You'll see a show car with a lovely new livery and, new sponsors or whatever. So if you're going to do that kind of thing, where better to do it than New York? It really has it all. And if you look at the calendar as well, the F1 calendar that we were talking about earlier, 3 races in the United States. When I first started working in this job, there were no races in the United States, and my career doesn't feel like it's been that long. So that is, it's a remarkable step that the US is now considered the place to activate, the place to look for sponsors, to look for money, maybe looking for drivers. We've got Logan Sargent coming on. I think every team would love to have an American driver if they could find one that they felt fitted the bill. So it's great, and I think it's going to be something pretty special. And it's also nice because it's at the start of February. Most of the other teams are launching mid-February. So if you're getting a bit tired of not having any events, any F1 kind of action going on, well, at least Red Bull are kicking us off a bit earlier than we would have been otherwise.
I would think too, the visuals of being in New York City. You watch the launches last year, and it's pretty stale to be on a big sound stage, and you just have the drop back behind you. But we saw that when Formula One was down in Vegas this past year when they were previewing it, and you saw Lewis Hamilton down there, you saw Checo down there, you saw the cars going up and down, and getting that visual of what it may look like. And I'm not saying a New York City race, but just seeing that visual of a Formula One car in New York City will be pretty cool.
Well, I think
Red Bull did some promotional stuff. Was it last year or last couple of years?
Where Checo drove from New York City to Miami, I believe.
How cool is that? You just see an F1 car on the road in New York, the sound bouncing off the buildings. I mean, that's an old V8 as well in that car, so it's really loud. It's a screamer. So anyone who's fairly new to the sport, when they went around when the V8s were in Formula One, so that's pre-2013, go and check out all of Red Bull's posts over the last few weeks, because it's been about New York and those V8 cars going around. So that's very cool. So I'm sure Red Bull will bring something along and make it a really cool event. They always do. It's kind of what Red Bull as a company, wider than F1, does best. It's just they just do cool things. They have cool people, take them to cool places, make cool things happen.
Thanks so much for watching ESPN on YouTube, and for more sports highlights and analysis, be sure to download the ESPN app, and for premium content and live streaming, subscribe to ESPN Plus.